What's up YouTube, HPJ here, and I am coming at you guys with the first of many Harpie deck profiles that will include, of course, our newest Harpie lady support. I'm really excited about this because it took a weekend and a day to get to the stuff that I needed. I'm really excited about this video. Um, I'll explain ratios and stuff, of course, when I go over the explanations, so that way you guys can know exactly what's what and what's going on with what. So, without further ado, I'm actually really excited about this. So this is pretty much the Harpie. I guess you call this the Harpie sisters variation of it, although it doesn't run exactly what I want to run when it comes to this. But just for my monster lineup, I'm running 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, 2 copies of Harpie Perfumer, 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 2 copies of Harpie Dancer, 2 copies of Harpie Queen. Let's put her here. 3 copies of Harpie Harpist. 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1, 2 copies of Harpie Lady Sisters, and 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Dragon. So that's it for the monsters. For the spells, I'm running 3 copies of Hysteric Sign, 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground, 1 copy of Elegant Egotist, 2 copies of Harpie's. I'm sorry, I keep calling it Harpies. It's Alluring Mirror Split. That is the retranslated name from Split Mirrors of Seduction. And then I'm running 1 copy of Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 copy of Regeki, 1 copy of Dark Hole, and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. That lines up the spells. And then for my traps, I am running, hold on just 1 second. Okay. 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm, 3 copies of Hysteric Party, and 2 copies of Harpie Lady Elegance. For my extra deck, I'm running 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 copy of Lightning Chidori, 1 copy of Castel, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 1 copy of Ice Beast Zero Fine, 1 copy of Gaga Cowboy, 1 copy of what is his name? Red Eye Flare Metal Dragon, 1 copy of Big Eye, 1 copy of Babuska, 1 copy of Tomahawk, and then for my Link monsters, I'm running 3 copies of Great Fly, 1 copy of Daruma Doll, and 1 copy of Decode Talker. So that is pretty much the entire deck lineup. So let me go over ratios and stuff. So I didn't get my 3rd Perfumer and my 3rd Rest on time because I wanted to get a full set of each. That way I could have 9 of each of all the new cards. But for the most part, of course, we know Harpie Channeler is our biggest monster to do a lot of our plays off of. And when it comes to the new support, you're going to need a lot of you're going to really search for her. You're going to really put her in play because you're going to summon a lot of your other Harpies off of her. When you control a dragon type monster, like i.e. Harpie's Pet Dragon, her level will change from 4 to 7, and you'll get a lot of your link plays out of that, especially when you want to go into stuff like Galaxy Tomahawk, because it makes tokens. You can swap the tokens out for the link monsters, and then you'll have enough of the link monsters and stuff to go into other link monsters and into a lot of your bigger plays. Of course, we all know Harpie Channeler, Perfumer, Oracle, Queen, Dancer, and Harpist will become Harpie Lady while they're on the field in the graveyard. That way you can have full access to a lot of your other support that uses Harpie Lady as its base. Next, we'll move over to Perfumer and Oracle. So, the only reason why I'm running 2 Perfumer just to start it off is because I need the 3rd one. So I'm working right now with a ratio of 2-2-2. That's 2 Dancer to 2 Oracle to 2 Perfumer. So the whole basis of our new Harpie Lady support is that they circulate their effect around, specifically searching for spells and traps that list Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. Oracle, during the end phase, will retrieve a spell or trap that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in its text and add it to your hand. If you control a level 7 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon Oracle from your hand. So that gives you additional monster, that gives you additional Harpie in the graveyard, and that also gives you an additional monster to use for a link summon or a exceed summon. With Harpie Perfumer, if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, she'll search your deck for 2 cards instead of 1. But they cannot be the same card. They have to have different names. Which is perfectly fine there, because with 9 spells and trap cards that specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in its text, you have a range of cards that both of these cards can do. And it does also allow you to not use so many Harpie Queen, because I know a lot of people were dropping Harpie Queen, and this is a good example to run a lot of bases of recovery and searchability. We just didn't have draw power, but we do now, so that helps tremendously with this. And the fact that they're both level 4 does help as well, because the level 4 game with Harpies is amazing. 2 Harpie Dancer is simply just because of the fact that, although I'm not running Divine Wind in the Mist Valley, Harpie Dancer is not one of the most prominent Harpies to summon this time around, because of the fact that most decks that aren't Ultra Dice don't set up back row. And even with Ultra Dice, you have to be very careful, because they do have a lot of cards to negate. They do have a lot of cards that can deal with your bigger monsters. And overall, when it comes to Harpie Dancer, she's kind of one of the lackluster Harpie ladies, because this does force a required normal summon. If you're not searching for Divine Wind of the Mist Valley or Harpie Channeler's Effect. So, and then like Hysteric Party and stuff like that. But the most part is you're bouncing her back, you're summoning another Harpie, and you're putting you're blowing up back row with Harpie's Hunting Ground, or with Harpie's with Divine Wind of the Mist Valley, you're getting your additional special summons off of that to get more monsters onto the board. 2 Queen is simply because we have Oracle, we have Perfumer. We don't really have to require Queen anymore. I mean, if you can play a 3rd Queen, if you want your 19 B sticks, so when you flip Hysteric Party, you can go into your Queens, and then your Queens can help you take out stuff. But for the most part, she becomes you want her to be Harpie Lady in the graveyard, so that Hysteric Party can trigger. You can trigger Elegant Harpie Lady Elegance. You can just trigger off a lot of stuff there, because you'll have a Harpie Lady engraved. And she is still relatively a good and useful monster. It's just you won't see much of her now, because we have Perfumer and Oracle to do pretty much what she does, just a little better. 3 Harpie Harpies. I mean, the girl's gonna have a lot of searchability with this deck. She's gonna get Perfumer, she can get Oracle, she can get Channeler, she can get Harpie Lady 1, 2, 3. Like, she has her range. She can get Dancer as well. So the only other thing about her is that her secondary ability, which is returning a winged beast you control and a face-up monster your opponent control back to hand, when Harpie Conductor gets her TCG release, whenever that is, you'll see a lot of people spamming that with Harpie Conductor. You'll see a lot of people spamming Harpist's Effect, Dancer's Effect, abusing Divine Wind of the Mist Valley. It's going to be a lot of prevalence with the balance effects of Dancer and Harpist and Conductor, especially when you're clearing your opponent's front row of monsters. In addition to that, she's also a beater if you put her in a Hunting Ground for 1900. And she's just a really easy discard. She's a really good send to the graveyard type of monster, because when her effect resolves in the graveyard at the end phase, you can retrieve your Harpie monsters, or just your level 4 winged beast with 15 or less attack. Now let's move on. Harpie Lady 1 is pretty much just our big target for Elegant Egotist. Our 300 additional attack and defense points come from her. Our 300 additional attack will come from her. And because her name is always Harpie Lady, you can't run over her. 3 Harpie Lady 1s and a Cyber Harpie, because Cyber Harpie as well is counted as Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard. So, yeah, that is that little factor there. But some people decide to run Cyber Harpie. I'm just choosing not to run Cyber Harpie in this variation, just because I feel like I have enough strength from Harpie Lady 1 and a lot of things to get over thanks to Harpie Lady 1 and Queen and stuff like that. So now let's move on to the bigger monsters into the main deck. Harpie Lady Sisters. So I've been preaching this. was very excited when the new support came, how it circulates around Harpie Lady Sisters. Um, a lot of people are very upset because there is no retrain for Harpie Lady Sisters. I think a lot of us would love to see a retrained Harpie Lady Sisters, just because like it'll probably be a level 4. It's treated as Harpie Lady Sisters. You control another Harpie Lady, it gains a level of increase or something like that. That would have been great. But for the most part, we're kind of stuck to Harpy Lady Sisters. The benefit to it is that, yes, they did correct it to where it says it must first be social summoned with Elegant Egotist. So if it goes to the graveyard, you can social summon it off of Alluring Mirror Split. If there's a Harpy Lady Sister in the graveyard, you can flip you can hit Harpy Lady Elegance and the sisters on the board back to the deck, and then put the one in the graveyard onto the field. Reborn and stuff like that will also work with her as well. But for the most part, these are your most accessible summons off of Egotist outside of the Harpy Lady. So you get a lot of retrain from that. Harpies had Dragon. Well, we know Dragon's primarily here because of Chandler. If it was not for Harpy Chandler, honestly, I don't think Dragon would be a useful monster. It's your rank 7 engine in one card, literally. And with a lot of the newer support, you get a lot more range out of it now, because you can resummon it. You can turn it into a beat stick. You can turn it into a defensive wall and just sit on it for like 25 defense plus all the heartbeats that you'll highly summon. So it's not too big of a monster to worry about. The only thing is you don't want to dead draw it. I've even seen people run 2 of these, just because in case you dead draw one, you can discard it for Chandler and then summon the other one, and then have both of them in the graveyard to be accessed for special summons from the grave. And that way you can have even more power. There's a lot of level 7 plays and stuff. So that's like the monster explanation for the spells. I think we pretty much know what Hysteric Sign does. It gets us our cards. It gets us our lineup of spells, traps, monsters with Harpy in its name. It's still one of our best spells, despite the fact that a lot of people, unfortunately, we don't have a way to search for it from the main deck. We don't have a way to retrieve it from the graveyard, so it is a problem. That and Hysteric Party. They're the only 2 things, but we still love our Hysteric Sign, and it gets our Egotist. Next is 2 Harpies Hunting Ground. 2 is only needed because of the fact that we have Oracle, we have Perfumer that can search for it. We don't search and retrieve it. We really don't need any more than that anymore. I think also for the most part is because of the fact that a lot of, if you're not Ultra Guys, literally, like that's the only deck I can think of that runs heavy back row. And the real problem you have to worry about Hunting Ground is that they do run Secret Village. So unless you're playing a Monk variant, or you can get a Spellcaster out through Link Summoning or Exceed Summoning, its only real problem is just that, playing dealing with Secret Village. Because you can just blow up everything else if you get the chance to. You can line an anti-spell, but then hope and pray that you don't have to deal with stuff. That you normally wouldn't have to deal with, but that is the big explanation for Hunting Ground. And the fact that, of course, we know what it does. 200 additional attack and defense to all your winged beast monsters. When Harpy Lady or Sisters is normal or special summon, they conduct their other summons, selects 1 spell or trap card on the field, and destroys it. So, at a point where you do have to destroy this card, you have Oracle to retrieve it. So, that's that. The 1 Elegant Egotist, I feel, is only needed because we have ways to search for it. We have ways to search it. If you do want to play double Elegant Egotist to speed up the process of a lot of the special summons, then go right ahead. Because I was also thinking about it as well for one of my variations of this deck. Now let's move on to some newer cards. We're talking about Alluring Mirror Split. So in the OCG, this card is named Split Mirrors of Seduction. I still think it has very beautiful artwork. Just, TCG censoring. So what this card does overall is when Harpy Lady or Sisters is destroyed in battle, such summon a Harpy monster from your graveyard. From your deck whose name is different from whose original name is different from the one that was destroyed by battle. Then, if this card is destroyed by your Harpie card effect or your opponent's card effect, you can summon the Harpie monster from your graveyard. And you can only use each effect of Alluring Mirror Split once per turn. So you can pop this with Hunting Ground, search a monster, summon the monster from the graveyard, put the other one on the board, ram your Harpie into something, have it be destroyed, summon another monster. I'm working on variations of this, of course, with Baby Dragon and Pet Dragon to really get a use out of summoning them, because those are some really useful monsters. Like I said, the newer Harpie support, despite the fact that a lot of people don't like it, it has so much versatility that you can easily do a lot of these combinations with. Next up is Harpie's Feather Rest. In OCG, it's called Harpie's Feather Roosting. It's pretty much our draw card. It's send three Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady sisters from your graveyard back to your deck. Shuffle, draw a card. If you control a level 5 or higher monster when activation, you draw 2 instead. And then for the rest of the turn, you can only summon wind monsters. Because Harpie Lady is predominantly wind, most of your extra deck is predominantly wind, this shouldn't be a problem. I love the fact that we finally have our own draw card and we have so much utility out of it. Thanks to Perfumer and stuff like that, we'll get some more range. You can run your variation of Dragon to help you set it up. And for the most part, it's not too bad of a card. It's just that a lot of people don't like the fact that it restricts your summoning to just win. But if you're playing Harpie Lady, most of your accessible summons should be win. Chidori, Castell, Great Flies, Harpie Conductor, your Harpie Lady summons. The fact that you have Phantasmal Dragon is still a thing. So, like, this thing isn't a bad card. It's just people don't understand. People have to remember there are cards just like this that have various restrictions in other archetypes. What do? You summon the other archetype stuff, or you play this card last once you summon some of your bigger monsters and do a lot of your bigger plays. This card can help you recovery instead and deal with the push. So that's it right there. Raigeki, Dark Hole are in Monster Reborn, pretty much my staple spells. For my traps, Feather Storm, Hand Trap Negation, negate all those monster effects. There is no monster effect once this card gets played. You have searchability through this, and you have recovery through this. No, you have offensive and defensive plays, with this. The only downside to this card is we still don't have Feather Duster. And I would love to have Feather Duster in CCG, because then we can finally use its full effects completely. And I cannot wait to the day the CCG gets Feather Duster, because it's going to be amazing. But for the most part, of course, this card is relatively going to be the best defense Harpies have against hand traps, graveyard effects, and nasty monster effects on the board. Now let's talk on the next Harpie Lady trap card, and one of my favorite Harpie trap cards, Hysteric Party. Despite the fact that Hysteric Party doesn't have anything to search for it, you have so many plays off of this card that is ridiculous. Discarding Hysteric Sign, discarding Harpie Harp, such summoning all these Harpie Ladies from your graveyard. When we get Conductor, she'll be in target for Hysteric Party, because she's treated as Harpie Lady while she's on the field in the graveyard. So you get use out of that as well. You get so much push out of this card. It is amazing. And like I said, it's just limited to Harpie Lady and the summon of Harpie Lady. Unfortunately, you can't summon Harpie Lady sisters because they're not treated as Harpie Ladies. So that's like the only downside to it. And it's just one of Harpie's biggest push plays. Next up and last card in the main deck, of course, is Harpie Lady Elegance. This was Harpie Lady. Yeah, this was the Elegant Harpie Lady. And for the most part, what it does, bounce Harpie Lady sisters on your side of the field back to the deck. And it has summon a Harpie monster from your hand, your graveyard, and your deck to the field. And then for the rest of the turn, all your monster summons can only be wind. Excuse me. It's one of those cards that I say is niche if you want to play Harpie Lady Sisters. And because I'm playing Harpie Lady Sisters, I'm going to use this card. I also want to use this card with Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon, because I can get Baby Dragon out on the field. It'll force the opponent to attack the Harpie Ladies, but it'll be at 2400 instead of 1200. and then you get a lot of use out of that. I think honestly this is one of still my favorite Harpie traps, but you are limited to Harpie Lady Sisters. Now the other benefit to this card is its last effect, which is if destroyed by battle. If you're destroyed by your opponent's card effect or your Harpie card effect, you get a Harpie monster from your deck to your hand. So if this card is destroyed through secondary effects, of course, bam, you can go and get your Chandler, you can go get your Harpist, Perfumer, and stuff like that to really spread out your utility. Oh, sorry about that. You guys can hear me. I pretty much said spread out your utility to summon your Harpie monsters and to get your Harpie Lady field set up to where you can use stuff like Harpie Pet Baby Dragon and benefit from it. Alright, so onto the extra deck. If you're looking for Saryuja, it's not going to be in here because Saryuja doesn't work with Harpie Lady because all the Harpie monsters are Harpie Lady on the field. And Saryuja, last time I checked, said it needs 4 monsters with different names. So, the whole Link situation, you use 2 Link monsters that are Link 2 and then summon it. But I ain't doing that because most of my stuff I really do need. So, Great Fly is your ultimate defense for 500 attack and defense for all your wind monsters, recovery for your wind monsters. Daruma Doll, same thing. Recovery, additional attack points, and it can kill tokens and get its effect off. So you're getting a lot of recovery out of this, especially if your Harpie monsters start getting banished. I am using Decode Talker. There are a lot of other cards I can honestly say you can use with in place Decode Talker as well. One monster I do want to suggest, if you have the money to afford it right now, Barrel Sword Dragon, because that's a really amazing card. I've been playing and using during testing. It's so good. It's a really good monster. But this is pretty much just my physical lineup, and it hasn't really felt me in much sense when it comes to these cards in general. As for the rest of the extra deck, I think we all know that my Harpie lineup does consist of, well, these 5. Phantasmal, Castel, Chidori, Tornado, and Ice Spears. When it just comes to the Harpie Lady range, your rank 4 plays are your most optimal, they're your most sufficient. And even though we have Conductor coming soon, I still would love to run Tornado Dragon because I love a first turn destruction of a spell or trap. I love just having to force my opponent to use stuff to have to deal with Tornado Dragon, and then just pop my sign, pop my Harpie Lady Elegance, and get those effects off. Pop my Luring Mirror Split, sit on a really defensive monster, and just benefit from it. Castel can return cards to the deck, like Chidori can return cards to the deck. Ice Beast negating stuff, gaining a huge amount of power. And in Phantasmal, Dragon just wrecks your opponent with that direct attack. Your Harpie monsters can't be destroyed by battle. Can't be targeted for battle or card effect. And with Conductor coming out pretty soon, hopefully coming soon to the TCG, that'll be another force there, because then you can't be destroyed by a Geki or Dark Hole in place of a spell or trap card, and Phantasmal Dragon's just sitting there with the biggest grin on its face, like, ha ha ha. Like, Conductor saved me, and you still have to deal with me, and you can't touch her because I'm still on the field with material. So, that is the 5 of them. And then, Cowboy and Red Eyes are for that burn damage when it comes to time. It's a good suggestion someone gave me, because the time ruling is an issue that everyone's going to eventually face, so have your outs to it. And these just happen to be some of the prominent ones. I do like Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon because of the fact Red Eyes Flare, every time your opponent plays a card, burn damage. Cowboy, that 800 burn, can come in handy in very tight, close situations. So, that's the 2 of them. And then to round out, Babushka is just a very defensive wall. We have the take your opponent's monster and laugh at them in their face, Big Eye. And then we have Tomahawk that just spams tokens like crazy. I would be very upset if Tomahawk did get banned because of the fact that I know a lot of other decks use it, which will be the problem. And because of how well and skilled Harpies are with their rank 7 plays, this is probably the one predominant card that helps us when it comes to just generic Link summoning. So, it would suck if it's gone. So, yeah. But that is pretty much it for the end of this video. I know it's a long one, but I did have to go through a lot of stuff to explain I hope you guys do enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, you guys, HTJ signing out. Take care.